What's good? Welcome back to episode 2 of Talk That Talk podcast, where we give our opinions. While not only giving our opinions, we're going over the facts with the stats. And I got my boy, I forgot to introduce myself, man. I go by the name of Bait, and my co-host go by the name of...
It's your boy D-Red, man. How y'all doing out there in these streets?
Yeah. Hey, man. The Last Dance is coming on tonight. Episode 5 and 6 is coming on tonight. And and we was talking about a dope topic, man. DJ, what about the topic we was talking about today?
So today, we're going to get into, since The Last Dance is hot and the 98 Bulls are a hot topic, we decided let's take the Bulls over an era or a 20-year span. And today's topic is about, there have been 19 championship teams since the Bulls, or 19 championships since the Bulls have won in 98.
19?
19. So from 99 to 2019, I mean, it's 20 technically, but 19 according to basketball.
Right.
And, so we want to look at those championship teams and see which one of those teams could have possibly beat the Bulls, the 98 Bulls, in a 7-game series. And we're also going to touch on the fact that Jordan, the great Michael Jordan, never had a sweep in the finals.
Never? Wait, Mike never swept nobody?
Mike never swept. Phil Jackson's only sweep in the finals came with the Lakers. Wow. Phil only has one. So Phil got, I think, 12 rings, player and coach, and he only got one sweep, and that's when the Lakers swept the Nets.
Wow.
So,
that's crazy.
But the other caveat to that is Mike never went to a game 7.
Okay. All right.
So he never made it to a game 7, but he never got a sweep. So we're going to look at and kind of dive into which one of these teams could have beat the 98 Bulls, and which one of those championship teams Jordan would have washed. Get up about it real quick.
Okay. If we was to talk about first, which team would have beat the Bulls? I got a lot of teams that could have beat the 98.
Wait. A lot?
Yes. I have a lot of teams that could have beat the 98 Bulls. And I'm going to go and say, I'm going to see, just judging by the teams, man. I'm going to say the 2000 Lakers could have beat
the 2000 Lakers?
2000 Lakers could have beat.
That's the first ring.
That's the first ring. They could have beat the 98 Bulls.
Okay.
I think they would have beat them. And I'm going to also go with, it's tough right here. This is tough. This is just tough.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to go with the 2014 San Antonio Spurs. They beat the Miami Heat in 5 games to 1. No, not 5 games to 1. 4 games to 1. I think it was 4 games to 1. They beat them in 5.
Yeah, 4 games to 1, and it's still statistically the greatest margin of defeat in NBA Finals history.
Because none of those games was close except for like one, and the one that they lost. But the other games, they pretty much
got rid of them.
Got rid of them bad. And I like Miami. I love LeBron. I love what he stands for. But I think that Spurs team, because they were so lethal. They were so lethal. They had so many weapons. I mean, they had like 5 or 6 players on a team that had above 50% 3-point rating or percentage. So I think that team, the way they spread the floor, the way they moved the ball, it wasn't like ball dominant or whatever the case may be. Because I really feel like a lot of the teams that the Bulls face, there was mostly ball dominant besides Utah Jazz, but the Utah Jazz only had really freaking Karl Malone, who was like their pure scorer, right? John Stockton was the assist. He was getting people involved, but they didn't really have a lot of scores on that team. And a lot of people don't understand that the games were still close. You get what I'm saying? Those games wasn't blowouts. It was only a few games that the Bulls really blew out the Utah Jazz. But imagine if Utah had a few more scores on that team. You get what I'm saying?
You Make a strong point. You make a strong point.
I think the Spurs would have got. Of course, I really think that Miami Heat that beat the OKC Thunder that year. I don't think nobody was beaten. I think that Miami Heat was the team that was crazy because the first year when LeBron came, they was a little bit nervous. They
the meltdown. Don't shy over it now. Come on now. Don't try to cap for your boy. You try.
LeBron had a meltdown. That is my dog. He had a meltdown.
Okay.
I don't think he was ready. I think if they would have played Mike, they probably would have same thing would have happened. So I would do that. But the first year when Dwayne Wade gave LeBron the keys, hands down. And I'm gonna say this, and I know it's other teams, but the last number one team, and I think this team would have swept the Bulls.
Hold on, wait.
No, I didn't stutter. I think this team would have swept the Bulls.
Swept as in?
Like the Bulls wouldn't have got one.
Show up, they win 4 straight, finals over.
Hey, we said Mike ain't never got a swept, but I think Mike would have got swept. I think the 2018 Golden State Warriors, hands down, would have swept the Bulls. Or even the 2017 team would have swept. I think that team alone would have just demolished the 98 Bulls. That's what I'm saying. That's what I feel. I think those were the teams, the most prevalent teams would have got them. And I think that team would have swept them.
I'm gonna
with that little dance, my sweat.
Got sweat.
Yeah. Mike would have been gone.
Because that team swept LeBron.
Yes, they did.
They got LeBron, Kyrie, Caleb, Jordan Clarkson, Rodney Hood, got them up out of here.
They didn't sweep that team. They got that team 4 games to 1. But the following year,
Kyrie wasn't there. My bad. Kyrie wasn't here. But
Kevin Love and LeBron and everybody else on that
team. Okay. So I'm gonna touch on that. Here's what's crazy.
What's crazy?
Babe. I put on my notes, 3 teams that could have beat the Bulls.
Okay, with 3 teams.
And we agreed on 2 of my 3.
Only 2 of the 3? What?
2 out of the 3 I put. But I didn't put the Spurs. But when you brought up the Spurs and that team, because I was kind of dicey with the Spurs teams. I was like, I don't really know. But with the way when you brought up that Spurs team, I might have to 1,000% agree that Spurs team, especially with them coming off the loss to LeBron and however that worked out, that Spurs team is pretty legit. So I would have to add that Spurs team to my list and agree with you that Spurs team could have beat the Bulls.
Yeah.
So I went a different direction. You went the 2000 Lakers. I went the 01 Lakers that went 15-1 during a playoff run.
Ooh, okay, I did forget about that team. No, I thought that was a team that didn't lose. They went undefeated. They didn't lose.
No. They lost 1. AI got them in game 1, and they went 15.
But no, that's in the finals, though. I thought the playoffs, they won every game.
Yeah, every game in the playoffs, and then they lost that 1. So overall, they end up going 15-1.
Okay.
So that's why I went the 15-1 Lakers, because listen to some of these stats though.
All right.
Well, of that Laker team,
okay.
Shaq during that playoff run averaged 30, 15, and 3.
30, 15, and 3. That's tough.
His boy though, the person they said, he was a number 2, he carried that. Kobe. During that stretch, he went for 29, 7, and 6. Many people don't like to talk about Kobe basically averaging 30 with Shaq during that 15-1 run they had. You don't really like to talk about that. And then you got a little official who averaged 13, Fox 10, and Grant Ori 6 and 5 between them 2.
Okay.
And so, when I look at that 2001 Laker team, I just feel like, there is no answer for the Diesel. None. There's not Rodman, Luke Longley, Bill Winnington, Jesus.
Yeah.
Get up out. Get up out.
Shaq would have. I give you that. That's why I said the 2000. But any one of those teams on the Lakers teams of the 2000 when they three-peated,
yeah. I just feel like that Laker team, because it's kind of little situations to where that first year you learn how to win,
right,
and then that next year you kind of have figured it out.
right.
I feel like that second year team kind of figured it out, because that third year team, even though they got the sweep against New Jersey, they was all like the West playoffs was difficult. So like the first year the West playoff was difficult because it was a figure out year. The
Right.
second year they got it, and then that third year was kind of like, you kind of running your course. And then they ultimately ended up losing that fourth year to San Antonio, and it's a whole new pick. And so I'm gonna go with the 2001 Lakers.
Okay.
I'm going to definitely agree with the 2011 Heat.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm on the my path is the same.
Okay.
First year, LeBron got up out of here because he had the meltdown. But the second year, like you said, D-Wade handed him the keys to the Ferrari.
He did.
And said, I'm going to go ahead and sit in the back. Ain't no back seat. I'm going to go ahead and sit in the back. And that 2011 Heat team was something special. Just watching it. Me personally, as a basketball fan, I can honestly admit I was cheering for the Thunder, because that was during my days where I did not want to see LeBron James fans happy.
Wow. So you was a LeBron hater.
Hater? I wouldn't call. See.
Nah, man. When you don't want to see a man happy, that's different. Like
I said, his fans. Didn't say the man. I said I don't want to see his fans happy.
The man gonna be happy is when his fans is happy. When his fans is good, LeBron love the folks. He love the people. That's why he played the game. He loved the game of basketball. He loved his fans. And so you telling me, if you don't want to see his fans happy, you don't want to see LeBron happy.
Nah, I just didn't want to see his fans happy. Because again, in 2011, people were still on this like LeBron Kobe thing, and me being the avid Kobe fan, I just was not trying to hear it. Like I wasn't real happy about the decision, and I'm about to go team up. And in my head, if you so good, people gonna come to you, or you gonna make the championship, Mr. James.
Oh, wait, hold on. He wanted people to come to him, but the ownership wasn't rocking with it. That's why he was like, "Look, man, I want to stay in Cleveland, but y'all not doing nothing to give me no help. You're not giving me no players. That's real. He wasn't getting the help that he needed to win championships."
Man, so see,
that's the truth.
They traded and brought in Ben Wallace. I mean, I know these ain't like names or whatever the case is, but Ben
Wallace at a tier of his career where he was going downward, not upward. So, and Ben Wallace is not going to help LeBron out. Yeah, maybe on a defensive standpoint, but he can't get a bucket. LeBron has to be able to go to the paint, and he has to have that ability to drive and attack. And if Ben Wallace can't shoot the ball, and all he can do is play defense and get rebound, they a liability on the offensive end. So yeah, he's doing good on defense, but what's the point on defense if you're not scoring points on offense? You're not scoring no points.
Yeah, I can care less about all that. Either way it go, like I said, I was I didn't like how the narrative was switching with the whole Kobe LeBron thing. Now that I'm older, I can accept it a little more, but I'm giving them that credit though to go win the shit.
I'm saying if you don't want to see his fans happy, that's just the same way of saying like a person said, I don't want to see your kids happy, but I want you to be happy. How you gonna be happy if your kids ain't happy?
I mean, in turn, yeah. But at the end of the day, like I feel like people was doing this whole LeBron comparison to Kobe thing, and his fans were becoming obnoxious. It wasn't him per se. That's what I'm saying. Like, my beef was never with LeBron per se, because as I start watching this game, I started to come and appreciate his game. So my beef was never with LeBron per se. My beef was always with his fans, because I just said, if he's so great, how do you have a meltdown in the biggest moment of your life? And no one can back it up. Well, if he's so great, how can you have a moment like that in the NBA Finals when your whole career, this is what you wanted? You got to the Heat, you got D-Wade, and you did all that, and then dropped the ball. But he picked up the ball, and 2011 Heat team was great, and that team, I feel, could ultimately beat the Bulls.
I think so. I would give you that. I would give you that. And again, when we always say LeBron dropped the ball, I get it. He dropped the ball, but at the same time, I think he only dropped the ball because his mentality. He was a killer when he was the only guy. But when you play with different players, you play with different all-stars, it's hard to be a killer sometimes, especially if that's not your team per se. You went to somebody else's team and you look up to somebody as a brother. Yes, you can be a killer when it's your own because it's yours. It's you the captain of the ship. But when you own somebody else's shit and you got multiple captains, that's what they said. It's so many chiefs, not enough Indians. When you got a lot of chiefs on one team, you're gonna have some friction. You're gonna have some like, damn, bro, I want to do this, but I don't. So I get he did melt down, but at the same time, there was still a lot of friction with that team on who's gonna be the guy. Because they had to determine, all right, D-Wade, it's your turn. All right, Brian, you take it this time. All right, D-Wade, it's your turn. All right, Brian, it's different. Whereas the Lakers, even with those 2001 Lakers per se, 9 times out of 10, most of the plays, I would say, I'm just going to go on a limb and say that, they was mostly designed for Shaquille O'Neal. Kobe was getting his buckets. But Kobe wasn't the guy, and that was the friction between them. That's why they had issues, because they couldn't figure out who was the captain of the shit. Was it Shaquille O'Neal Lakers or was it Kobe Bryant Lakers? And that's why they ultimately split up, because they couldn't get along.
No, they couldn't get along because Shaq fat ass wouldn't get in shape at the beginning of the season.
No, okay, I understand that, but it's a person. Shaq was always a person that was a grinder for the most part, but he had that superstar mindset. Like, yo, this is my squad, bro. This is my team. I don't care what I'm getting. These, like you said, 30 points and 15 rebounds. Without these damn 30 points and 15 rebounds, your ass won't be big enough to get 29 points. So with me, I'm making it easier for you. And that was Shaq in his prime. So Kobe, that's why everybody said Kobe wouldn't have won those championships without Shaq. And I'm not going to say that it's not vice versa, because Shaq probably wouldn't have won those championships without Kobe. I wouldn't say that. But I'm going to say Shaq made it a little bit more easier for Kobe because it was a double team. He was a guaranteed double team on Shaq. You couldn't guard Shaq one-on-one. You couldn't, in his prime, you couldn't guard him.
You are 1,000% correct in that you couldn't guard Shaq one-on-one. But I feel like the reason why Shaq and Kobe had that beef, and the reason why, if we looking at the Bulls and why they never really had that beef with Pippen and Jordan, is because Jordan never had to question Scotty's work ethic. And you see in The Last Dance, the only time he really questioned Scotty, is when Scotty decided not to go get that surgery right after the season so they can get back and get on this horse and go win this next ring. Kobe had a serious problem, because he said it on multiple interviews, and you can go look all this stuff up, that he really had an issue with Shaq's work ethic, because when he looked at Shaq, he's like, do you know how great you would be if you just did this all the time? And Kobe didn't like that he reared up and all this kind of stuff. So when people are looking at it, it's like Shaq got into form January, February to start setting up for that late run, which again, it's a marathon and it's not a sprint. So I get it. But you got to think about that young Kobe. He was so hungry and he wanted to be great. And he was chasing that ghost of Michael Jordan. So when you chasing that ghost, you only see one thing. And everybody else that don't see the same thing as you is going to be a problem. So that's where the problem came in. I don't necessarily think it was a problem with who team it was or who wasn't. I think it was just a problem with him wanting to. He wanted Shaq to be as dominant as Shaq was. When we watched Shaq in the finals, it's like, oh my God, who gonna stop? But Shaq wasn't like that in November and December and half of January. That bothered Kobe. I think
it's a marathon. Not at the end of the day, if you a big guy like Shaq and you taking a lot of those bruises, your goal is to be healthy when it matters the most. Like, yeah, I give you these buckets early, but I need to be able to conserve this to when it matters the most. And that's why he did what he did in the playoff. And when you talk about the Bulls and Scottie Pippen, it was always Mike Jordan team. It was never, oh, Scottie can be the man of this. No, it was Mike Jordan team from hands down from when they drafted whoever they brought in there. Mike was the guy. They all say that in all the Last Dance documentary episodes. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, he trusted Scottie Pippen could go out there and get some buckets, baby. But it was always Mike. It was Mike. Even when Mike said, and he even said it, when Phil Jackson, man, hey, man, you taking the ball out my hand. And they had Scottie Pippen. You taking the ball out my hand and you giving it to everybody else. Hell no. What are you doing? I need the ball in my hand. So that lets you know his mindset. This is my team, and these are my generals on here. Scottie was maybe a lieutenant, but I'm the goddamn man. I'm the captain of this dang ship. Scottie, my lieutenant. Dennis Rodman was another lieutenant, but he didn't come before Scottie Pippen or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, it was always Mike Jordan team. That Laker team broke up because they had friction. Yeah, Kobe could have been mad at Shaq's work ethic, but at the end of the day, they won goddamn championships. So you can be mad all along, but you're getting your goal, you're getting your prize. But the reason why they broke up is because it was an ego thing. Who was the man of the team?
But let me ask you this, babe. Is your 22-year-old, 23-year-old mind the same as your 30-year-old, 32-year-old mind?
But no.
So the 22-year-old Kobe, at that time, he is in go mode. He's not thinking about the marathon and getting ready, because in his head, I prepare this whole off season so I can kill all season and do that. I'm gonna get my body right because he's young. He's not thinking about preparing and all that. He like, oh no, it's time to go win this shit. So I just think it was a growth thing, because you can see in the later years, and even with Kobe talking, you watch different interviews, like his stance on how he was, it didn't soften, but he understands it's a different kind of race that he didn't. To me, I don't think he understood that young. You feel me? So I just think with him, it was more of a growth thing. And Shaq knew Kobe was coming. That's why he was like, he understood. You feel me? If you're going to choose the young gun. I mean, it's that simple. You're going to choose the young gun. So Shaq understood. And then he also said, Shaq said he understood that Dr. Jerry Buss wasn't about to fork over the money that he was trying to get. When you got a young gun, and you're going to have to pay that young gun some money too. So, but to get back to where we was going,
right. Who's the
third? I also agree with you that the 2018 Warriors would have won. Yeah. I just don't think it would have been a sweep. I'm not gonna give them a sweep.
Down, they sweeping Mike and them.
I got something for you there. Since you think that they would have swept,
I think that I'm gonna tell you why I think they would have swept, because
please enlighten me, because Michael Jordan. Hold up. Now remember, Michael Jordan got swept, I think, twice in his career. I think, or maybe once. I'm gonna say twice.
A lot of times, so against the Boston Celtics, they used to get his ass out of there.
Yeah, it was only twice. He got swept this second year, and I think Milwaukee swept him the next year, his third year.
Okay.
So this was in the the early stages of Mike, and this was in the playoffs. This wasn't even in the finals. So after that, nobody swept Mike. Not the Pistons, really just the Pistons. Mike didn't get swept. He got swept when he was younger. He had nobody. So for you to think that the Warriors would have swept Mike,
Yeah.
oh, you drunk. Like I said, I think that they'd have won the series. But sweep Mike in the finals?
I'm sober as it be. I don't think that Bulls team would have won the game against against Kevin Durant and the Warriors, bro. That Warriors team has Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, KD, Draymond, and they bench. That's what people don't understand. Like, the team was a great team with those four alone. But the bench they had, bro, the bench that they had made them unstoppable because when the superstars went off the floor, the bench was still giving buckets. The bench was still keeping the lead. And sometimes the bench even helped get the lead. So that's why I think that when the Mike and them went off the floor, they was in trouble. They was in trouble. They didn't have no guaranteed person that was going to give them a bucket. It was a hit and miss. It was a hit and miss. Somebody will show up, somebody won't show up. And that's why I think that Warriors team by far would have swept the 98 Bulls. Hands down, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking my talk. That's what I believe.
You got to be drunk. I would just say that. I mean, you claim you sober, but these have to be drunk thoughts because, again, I agree they would have won. But sweep?
Yes.
MJ?
Yes. That I think they would have swept them. I'm not even gonna hold you.
I'm gonna hit you with an emphatic FOH. Okay. FOH.
That team was stacked, bro. The team
it could be stacked. It could be stacked.
They were stacked.
But that team also lost one game to LeBron and Kyrie. And because they lost one to them, I'm gonna give Mike one or two. I'm not gonna be disrespectful. You are being flat out disrespectful.
I'm not being disrespectful, man. I'm being honest. And that the one time they won one game this was the first year they had Kevin Durant. That would probably be the year they probably would have won one game. I'm gonna give you that. But the following year, no, because I felt like the first year they were still getting adjusted, like every team gets adjusted when you add another superstar to your team or you change, you try to orchestrate a good team like that. So, yes, that's why LeBron and them won one. But the following year, they stood a chance. They stood no chance in hell to win the game. And that's why I believe LeBron had to go superhero, and he still lost. LeBron put 51 points up, and he still lost. They were still losing throughout that game with LeBron's heroic performance. And Mike Jordan, I'm going to give you that. Mike Jordan would have scored 50. He would have scored 60. But the way the Warriors moved the ball, those shooters that they had on that squad, those dogs that they had on that squad, and that killer Kevin Durant, nobody was beating that team. Nobody. I'm sorry.
We agree. But that's the same Warrior team that went 7 with the Rockets and was a CP3 hamstring injury away for us not even talking about that team?
Yeah, man.
We talk about the same team, right? Your boy, your guy.
Yeah.
Was a hamstring in game 6 injury away to me from the Rockets beating that team and getting them up out of here. And that team would have swept Mike? Are you kidding me?
Yes, they would as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I got something for that. Don't worry.
They would.
I get 90 seconds to end the show. Don't worry.
They would have swept Mike.
But ain't swept Mike.
Talking about the teams that would have beat Mike.
Yep.
What team would Mike have beaten or swept?
Swept?
Never swept. But what team Mike would have swept?
So after looking at the research, looking at the numbers, I only came up with one team. Mike would have got the Dallas Mavericks up out of there. Mike would have got the Dallas Mavericks.
You think they would have swept the Dallas Mavericks?
Hell yeah.
No. No. How? Who's sticking dirt in the whiskey?
Dennis Rodman. What do you mean?
Oh, no. I don't give a damn. There was no stopping the 7-foot fadeaway. I don't care who you are, bro. Who you are. Let me tell you this. When Dennis Rodman was on the Detroit Pistons and he was sticking Mike Jordan. Mike Jordan was still giving him buckets, and Mike Jordan is 6'6", maybe 6'7" on a good day, but I'm going to say 6'6". You're talking about a 7-foot assassin who can shoot over anybody? Dennis Rodman? Bro, you're bugging. You're
okay. Yeah.
I don't think they wouldn't have no, they wouldn't have swept. They wouldn't have.
They getting rid of Dallas.
No.
Because you got Dirk, and then who in the hell else is going to score? Because we give Dirk 30. Give him his 30. All right, cool. Who's stopping Jordan? Name one defender on the Dallas Mavericks that can light a candle. Now, I'm not even saying they're supposed to be in a room with Mike. Name somebody else on that team supposed to be in a room with Mike. Nobody. You trying to think. Nobody. So, and then the best two of the best three players on the court are from the one team, and that's the Chicago Bulls. And then the next best player is Dennis Rodman. Who else plays for who? The Chicago Bulls. So 3 out of 4 top players on the court is all from one team. And it's the same situation with the Heat. But Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman is greater than Wade, Bosh, and Bron.
Mm.
So Jordan's getting Dallas up out of here. Let's respect the Dirk. Because, you got to think about it. That year, Dirk swept Kobe. He beat the Thunder. And he beat LeBron. So, the Mavericks wanted a magical run. But if they would have magically disappeared. If they'd have played the Bulls. Bulls get rid of them. And Bulls get rid of them. And then my other team, my close B team that I think the Bulls would have got rid of is the last year's Toronto Raptor team. I think the Bulls get rid of them too. But I'm not convinced.
Wow.
But I think
Wait. Are you drinking? What you drink this morning?
My daughter made smoothies this morning, so that's
smoothie. Did you spike that smoothie? They swept Kawhi Leonard and the Toronto Raptors?
I said that was kind of my on the fringe one. I got one definite. It's like spades.
Bruh,
that's my one possible.
Crazy. No, not even a chance they would have swept that Toronto Raptors team. And it's not even a chance they would have swept the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas Mavericks would have won one game. Dallas Mavericks would have got one. They would have got one of those games. I'm going out on a limb, and I'm letting you know they would have got one of those games.
Wait. So I just want to make sure we're clear. Just for all intents and purposes. So the Warriors sweep Jordan.
Yes. Hands down, facts.
But Dirk and company gets a win?
Yes. Let me just
I've officially heard it all today. Like, it's only 1 o'clock. I've officially heard it all.
Say this though, because you got to understand, when the Bulls play people in the NBA Finals, right? They didn't play against people with the athleticism and the savvy as the people that's in these eras that we're talking about. Like the 2018 Golden State Warriors, there's never been a shooter like Steph Curry. Now, Larry Bird can shoot the thing. Reggie Miller can shoot. I'm talking about off the dribble, splaka, from half-court range, splaka. And then you got one of the best two-ways in the game, Klay Thompson, who would have probably locked Mike up. I'm going to go and say that. He would have clamped Mike Jordan. He would have gave Mike Jordan problems. I'm going to go ahead and say that. People don't give Klay Thompson a lot of credit. Klay Thompson would have gave him buckets. He would have gave him buckets. And he would have Klay would have clamped him.
Light-skinned Klay is locking up.
He would have gave Mike problems. I'm telling you that. Mike gonna get his buckets because Mike gonna get his buckets, but he would have made it very, very tough for Mike Jordan. Let's pay attention to the teams that the Bulls beat. Pay attention to those people that they beat. On the opposite side, how many scores, legit scores, did they beat in those final runs? How many legit scores that was putting up a bucket, that was a walking bucket?
Karl Malone was a walking bucket. He's the second all-time leading scorer in NBA history.
Okay, who else?
Charles Barkley was the MVP the year that they won, that they beat MVP year.
Okay, was
walking bucket.
Okay, Charles Barkley. Who else?
That Blazer team was pretty good with Terry Porter and Clyde Drexler and Jermaine Kersey.
Clyde Drexler was a great athletic dunker. He wasn't no shooter like that. Clyde didn't shoot like that.
No, I mean,
it was layups, maybe a couple mid-range. Clyde wasn't no jump shooter like that.
But that's my point.
Okay.
When I look at that Mavericks team, unlike the other teams that have won championships, were very similar to the teams that he beat in the 90s. One guy. So that's why I'm saying if he was going to get a sweep, it was going to come against the one team that was one guy heavy. That's all I was saying. That's where my thought process generated, because Dallas was one guy heavy.
I give you that, but pay attention to what you just said. The Utah Jazz had one guy, and they took Jordan to 6. The Charles Barkley had the Phoenix had a couple of guys. They had Marley, they had Kevin Johnson, they had Charles Barkley. I think they even had Cedric Sabalas on that team, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Cedric on that team.
I think Cedric Sabalas was on that team, and they took Mike to 6. So you telling me let's say it's Supersonics. The Supersonics, they only had Sean Kemp and Gary Payton. They had Perkins, but come on, man, they wasn't like no guaranteed buckets. They wasn't no guaranteed buckets, and they took Mike to 6. Who else?
But Mike went to 6 with them because, remember, I guess they're supposed to premiere on The Last Dance. That was the year Mike Pops died. So I don't think Mike was fully.
Okay.
You know how that is. So
Mike. I'm just looking at it right now, bro. Mike, every game went to 6. Let me see when he won 90. What was that? What was
the Lakers? He beat the Lakers in 5, the Blazers in 5, Phoenix in 6.
Magic Johnson was hurt.
Yeah, and Byron Scott didn't play. They backdoor swept the Lakers, though. Right. You know, when you win, they backdoor swept them.
They did, but they and then Portland, they went to 6.
Okay,
they went to 6. These are like one-score teams, and they're only going. They're not sweeping nobody. And the Lakers, I wouldn't even give them that backdoor sweep because they wasn't the fully healthy Lakers. They wasn't. That's like the Warriors beating LeBron without Kevin Love and Kyrie, bro. That's not the same. So yeah, they won. Of course they won, but they wasn't gonna sweep that team if they had all the players on that squad. So that's what I'm saying. If they went to 6 with one score on the team, you telling me they would have swept the Dallas Mavericks? Come on, man.
I mean, but you gotta think about the question at hand.
What are you doing? What was the movie?
The question at hand is, hypothetically speaking, what would have been the most likely team to get swept? So I'm saying the most likely team to get swept would have been Dallas. That's just the most likely team.
I'm gonna go on a limb, and I'm gonna.
Hold on, wait. I got a feeling you about to say something that's gonna take me to a new level. But go ahead and say it.
I'm gonna say this. The Bulls, Chicago Bulls, Mike Jordan. I'm gonna say this. Mike Jordan wouldn't have swept none of the winners of the past 19 years. He wouldn't have swept none. And that's what I feel. I don't think he would have beat the Lakers. I don't think he would have swept the Spurs. I damn sure don't think he would have swept the Dallas Mavericks. He would damn sure wasn't gonna sweep the Golden State Warriors. And if you're talking about the East, he wouldn't have swept none of those teams that got to the Eastern Conference Finals. Not even Detroit Pistons. I don't think he would have swept them to even get to the finals. So no, he wouldn't have swept none of them. No. None.
Well, I feel like that's the easy answer.
That ain't no easy answer. That's the real answer.
That's an easy answer. I just feel like that's an easy answer, mate. I feel like that
real.
right there is the cop-out answer because you're not trying to be controversial. I feel like I gave an answer, at least one team. I'm just hypothetically speaking.
This was okay. If we gonna give one team, then I would say he may have probably maybe a slight chance beat the 99 San Antonio Spurs. I don't know if he would have swept them, but I think he could have.
So that'd be the closest thing to a sweep was the 98 Spurs.
99
Spurs.
99 Spurs. 99. Because I know that Spurs team didn't like a lot of physicality like that. And you got Dennis Rodman, who's different. He probably would have got into David Robinson head. And Tim Duncan was so quiet and he was young.
He was a rookie.
I think he would have swept that team. That was the best chance. I don't think he would have swept Dirk in his prime. Dirk was in his prime. He was in his bag. He was in his bag, bruh. Let me just look. Let me just see something, bro. Let me see this. I need to see Dirk Nowitzki. What year was that? Was that the same year Dirk won the MVP?
No, the year he won MVP, the We Believe team got him up out of here.
Who was that? Oh,
the Warriors, because they won 62 games that year when he won MVP. They was a 1 seed, and that Warrior team as an 8 seed got them up out of here.
Oh yeah, that was that. All right. Yeah. You lucked out. You lucked out. Because I was about to say, ain't no way in hell they was sweeping that team. I just feel like when you look at Michael Jordan and all the teams he played, he mostly played against one scorer on that team. And with one scorer on that team, they was able to win at least 2. Some at least 1.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I honestly believe, well, I don't honestly believe, but another team that we could throw out there that I think he probably would have got rid of, possibly, was that 05, 06 Miami Heat team that won with Shaq and D-Wade. There's a chance he get them up out of there too.
But see, he couldn't play against. He would have had to play them.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. If we was to remove conferences and those teams had to go head to head for 7.
No,
I think they may win a game.
They would. I'm telling you, Mike, sweep nobody who had a score.
But that was the point. That's the beauty of this. That's the beauty of this conversation is because he never got one.
We're going by facts and stats, and we're going by one scoring team. I don't think they would have swept them, but I think they could have beat the 99 Spurs because they was too clean. They played against a New York Knicks team that was they wasn't near. They would have probably been able to sweep that team because
Duncan. Yeah. Robinson, Mario Elie, Sean Elliott, Avery Johnson. That was their starting 5.
They're probably over the aura of Mike Jordan. So Mike Jordan probably would have swept them.
Because they'd have been a 4-peat.
Yeah. I think they would have swept them. I think they would have swept that team.
All right, well that's good. I'm proud of you because I didn't like the cop-out answer you had. I wasn't feeling the cop-out answer you had.
Wow.
So I respect that one.
That's not cop-out, it's just stats. We do stats. But hold up. Okay. Before we get to the Talk That Talk section. If you only had to pick one team that would have beat Mike Jordan, one team, what team would that be?
Oh, the 01 Lakers. I'm always right with my guys. It's that simple.
I love LeBron in there. But I think Kevin Durant, that team with Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond, Iggy, Livingston, they would have swept them. They would have swept the Bulls. The Bulls ain't never played against that type of firepower with lethal shooters all around. They would have swept them in. They would have got them out of there early. They would have had Klay Thompson on Mike, and they would have had Kevin Durant on Mike. And Kevin Durant is not no old dude that he playing in 1992 and 93 where they can't move their feet. They slow-footed. They got 2 left feet or 2 right feet, uncoordinated. No.
He's not.
If you watch the Last Dance, Mike said it himself when he beat Cleveland. Remember he beat Cleveland in that playoff game?
Yeah, with Craig Elo.
Yeah, he said they should have put Ron Harper because Ron Harper made it tough for me. Ron Harper is how tall? How tall is Ron Harper?
6'6".
Okay. How tall is Kevin Durant?
6'11".
Okay, so Mike Jordan probably would have got buckets, but I guarantee it would have been tough for him. It would have been tough for him. And if you really think about it, Mike Jordan he didn't play a lot of defense on the scores, if you think about it. He didn't play a lot of defense on the score. When he beat the Lakers, they put Scottie Pippen on Magic Johnson, not Mike Jordan, because Magic Johnson was giving it to Mike. He was cooking Mike. They said, nah, put Scottie on him. And Scottie made it tough for him. He guarded him from full court all throughout that game. Watch that damn documentary again, because you ain't watching it right. He said, hey, when he put Scottie Pippen on Magic Johnson, they beat him 4 straight because Scottie made it tough for Magic Johnson in that series. Now, when they played other people, Karl Malone, Mike Jordan wasn't sticking on Karl Malone. Dennis Rodman was.
He a power forward.
I understand that, but I'm saying Dennis Rodman was doing the dirty work. Dennis Rodman did the dirty work. Okay, so who gonna guard Kevin Durant?
Scottie. What do you mean?
Who gonna guard Steph Curry?
You have a multiple people just chasing him around. Steve Kerr, Ron Harper.
Steph Curry is cooking Steve Curry. Man, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me, man. Stop playing with me. Come on, man. Who's guarding Steph Curry from the half-court line? Pull up, Shrek Black. Who doing that? Steph, and then when you think who gonna guard Klay Thompson?
Jordan. What are you talking about? Jordan ain't got to work to guard Klay. Klay Thompson can't dribble. Shut up. Klay Thompson, you got more dribble moves right now than Klay Thompson.
No. Listen to me. Klay Thompson would have been coming off the screens, and Mike wouldn't have guard Klay Thompson because he got to run. Mike got to be able to score. Mike got to be able to score. Mike ain't scoring if he running around screens left and right. His percentage would have been bad. Running around screens. That's why I said that team would have swept the Chicago Bulls. I'm sorry. They would have swept Mansdale. That's it.
So Mike didn't have to chase around Reggie Miller when they played them in the Eastern Conference Finals?
And it was tough. That's one score. That's one.
Imagine he had to chase around.
But imagine 2. Imagine 3, because Kevin Durant can play off the ball and on the ball. So imagine trying to chase 3 elite scores on a freaking squad. Imagine that. Imagine. Come on, bro, you tripping.
Like I said, I agree, they win.
They sweeping them.
I'm not saying they don't. I don't say they don't win.
Sweep. Get them out of there.
Series go 5 or 6. Go 5 or 6.
Sweep.
Mike ain't getting swept.
He getting swept. He getting swept.
You can't sweep Mike Jordan to the finals. Like, it's just not happening. The man never even made it to 7. He's like, we gonna get swept?
He get swept.
Fuck out of here.
He never played 3 elite scores like that.
They never played against Michael Jordan.
All right, I understand. That's 1. 1 is not better than 3. I don't care what you say. 1 is not better than 3. I don't care what you say. I don't give a damn. Mike needed people to help win them chips. One,
of course.
Okay, so you got 3 elite scores on one team. Mike ain't never dealt with that. He ain't never dealt with 3 elite. Maybe 1. Maybe a minimum of 1 B and a half, but never 3, bro. Don't know. But this is your chance. You're on the chopping block.
Okay.
You got a minute 30 seconds.
Okay. I don't even think I need the full minute 30, but I'ma just entertain the fans.
That talk segment. You got a minute and 30 to talk your stuff. Let me get the timer. Let me get it.
Man. I mean,
hold on. Where my damn? I can't even get my clock ready. You got a minute and 30 seconds to tell us why you don't think, you tell us why you think my team that I chose wouldn't swept. Tell us why you think the Lakers team would have beat and tell us why you think the Mavericks wouldn't have won again. This is your chance. You want to talk that talk, chop and block. I want to hear it. We starting the clock right now.
So Bulls sweep the Mavericks because Dirk is kind of like the rest of the teams they beat throughout their run. One man, one band, ain't happening. Bulls sweep them, get them up out of here. Lakers win. Why? Because of Shaq. Shaq by himself beats the Bulls. Kobe gonna do his thing, but the Bulls have no answer for Shaq. No Luke Longley, no Dennis Rodman, no Bill Wellington, no Phil Jackson, no Tex Winter. I don't give a damn. The city of Chicago wouldn't hold that man. So that's why the Lakers win. And finally, to deal with the blasphemy you're speaking, I'm going to say this now. Warriors win the series. They don't sweep Mike. Mike ain't getting swept because Mike is going to slap both of the light-skinned boys in their face on his way to winning at least 1 to 2 games. There is no sweeping Michael Jordan in the NBA Finals. I don't give a damn who is there, why they there, how many scores, how many burgers. I don't give a damn about none of that there, buddy. The Warriors ain't sweeping Mike because the Warriors went to 7 with the Rockets, and if we want to bring it in, we know for damn sure the Rockets ain't beat the Bulls, and you admit to that. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, and I'ma always talk my talk.
You lucky.
I don't even need a minute and a half. I told you. Didn't even need a minute and a half.
You was only 8 seconds off, but you lucky. I can rebuttal because we reached the end of our show, but I want to know in the comments below, do y'all agree with DJ? Do y'all agree with me? Do you think the Warriors would have swept the Mike Jordan 98 Bulls? Or do you think Mike would have got 1 game? Or do you think the Lakers would have been able to beat the 98 Bulls? And in the last flash, do you think Dallas Mavericks would have got swept or would have won a game? We want to know in the comments below. We want y'all to talk that talk in the comments below. And beware, we will be reading your comments. And we will be giving our input to y'all comments or questions. So if you got comments and questions, put it in the comments below. But it's your boy Bay.
It's your boy D Red, man. Stay tuned, baby.
Yeah. And welcome. Hey, come back. Because you know what we do all the time. We talk that talk. We out of here, man. God, I can't believe I'm done. I can't.
You the one that said it, not me. You. That was you.